Good day, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Mr. Chavez's Art Show. Take a look at what I made. See, I made this all by myself. If you want to learn how I drew this, that's what we're gonna learn today. We're gonna learn how to draw, and more specifically, we're gonna learn how to draw shapes. So come follow along, and I'll show you how. So these are our supplies for today. Now you only are gonna need 2 supplies. You're not gonna need a lot, so you're gonna definitely need paper, any kind of paper. We're mostly focused on the white paper, and then you're gonna need something to write with. Now, Mr. Chavez has pencils and an eraser just to help write. You can also use colors like markers, crayons, and colored pencils. No paint today, no paint. We're just gonna stick with, because when we draw, we're gonna need to use something to write with. Okay? So that's just it. So let's get started. So we're gonna start off with something easy by drawing a house or a building. So we're gonna start drawing our house. So when you draw a house or a building, they are usually drawn with these shapes: a square, a rectangle, a triangle, and this funny shape that is called a trapezoid. So let's build a simple house. We're gonna start off by drawing the square, and how we draw the square is like so. Draw one side, draw the other, draw the other, draw down, and there we have our square. And then we're gonna draw the top of our house. Usually they look like triangles, and I'm gonna draw a big triangle like this. So that's our little house right there. Now you can make houses as different as you like, but they usually have these shapes. For example, I can draw a different house using a rectangle, and usually rectangles are longer than squares. And for the roof of this rectangle, I'm going to use the trapezoid. And it's a funny shape because usually it has slants on the side, like so. And there you have it. There's another house. Or you can flip the rectangle like so to make it a long building. And you can even give it a top of the roof like so. So these are examples of different houses. Now my houses look a little barren, or they need a little bit more details in it. So if you want to add details to your house, first let me just draw my house. And for the roof, I'm gonna use a trapezoid. So it has a square and a trapezoid. Now, to add details like windows and doors, remember, you have to think of the shapes that it consists. For windows, they usually are square. So they're tiny little squares within the square. And for the door, they're they're little short rectangles like this. So those are details. And if you want to add a little knob, just add a little dot. So these are examples of houses. The next thing we're going to draw is a car. Now this might be a little hard, so pay attention and follow along. So the next thing we're going to draw are cars. Now cars are both easy and hard to draw. They're easy because they are made up of these shapes. They are made up of circles, rectangles, and trapezoids. Why it's hard to draw them is because you have to place these shapes in a certain way and add details to them. Alright, so let's get started with drawing our car. Now, I'm gonna actually, let's see. So we're gonna start by drawing a rectangle on the side like this. This is gonna be where the car is gonna sit on. The next step is we're going to include a trapezoid on top of our rectangle, like this. And lastly, we're going to include circles at the bottom of our rectangle, but it's going to be on top of the rectangle like this. So I'm drawing my circles, and these are the wheels of the car. So that is an example of a car using our shapes. So I'm going to draw another car. This time I'm going to use my pencil and my eraser so that I can add details and erase some things. So we're going to first start with our rectangle. We're going to draw our trapezoid. And then we're going to draw our circles for the wheel. Now I'm going to take my eraser. I'm just going to erase the line inside the circle in both my circles. So that's how it looks like. Now, if you want to add details, to make it look more like a car, you can add a circle within the little circle, like so. And then you can add squares inside your trapezoid for the windows. Now, if you want to add more details to your car, I'm going to take my pencil. You can round off the first part with a circle, with half a circle, not a full circle. And then just do a little eraser right here. See, it looks rounded off. Or if you want to add a little trapezoid on the side right here, and then round it off, do a little eraser, and there you have it. See, I have two completely different cars. One has more detail, and this one is just how they are mostly built.
And the last thing we're going to draw is one of the most hardest things to draw, and that is a person.
So now we're going to draw a person. Now, making a person is very hard. It's actually one of the hardest things to draw in the world because they are made up of many different shapes. They're usually made out of circles, squares, rectangles, and this skinny circle that's called an oval. And it's very hard because a person, when you draw them, they have different size, different circles of different sizes, from big to small, and also adding details. So let's get started in trying to draw one. So first thing we're going to draw is the head. Now we're going to draw the head using an oval. Because sometimes people's heads, they look like egg shaped. And eggs kind of look like ovals. So that's our oval. And then we're going to draw the neck, which is a very tiny rectangle. Or tiny square. Very tiny square. See, I don't know if you can even see this. The next step is drawing. You can we're going to use a square, a bigger square than our neck. And then we're gonna go using our arms. And for our arms, for our shoulder, we have circles. And from our circles, we're gonna draw rectangles. I know, this is kind of hard. And then from the rectangles, we have circles. And then from our circles, rectangles. And from our rectangles, we use our ovals for our hands. Now, we're going to draw the bottom part of our bodies, and then for that, we are going to use another square. And from our square, we're going to use slanted rectangles all the way to the bottom. Long, skinny rectangles. And then from there, for the feet, you can either do little tiny rectangles like so, or you can use an oval for their feet or their shoes. So that's one way to draw a person. So here I drew more different versions of people. I have one person that has a big round circle, kind of looks like it has a big round belly. And then I also drew another person with details. I gave it hair, eyes look like circles, and then of course I went in to give my person a shirt. And if you wanted to give your person a skirt, it looks like a trapezoid, only a little longer, skinnier trapezoid with slants, with diagonals right here. And then you just go in. Once you're done, you can just go in and erase some of the things in there. That way it looks more like a person.
So here is my drawing. As you can see, here's my house. Here's my house that I drew. You have a square. You have a trapezoid right here, and then my windows, my door. Now notice how there's a little tiny square on the top of my roof. Well, sometimes houses have chimneys in their house, so that's why I drew a little house right there. And then I have my car right here. What shapes do you see here? You have your two circles. We have trapezoid right here, trapezoid, a rectangle. Now, I drew a triangle in the front of my car. So it turned out nice. And here's my person that I drew with circles, ovals, and rectangles and squares. I wonder who this person is. And lastly, I'm going to show you how I drew a tree. Now, I know I did not show you how a tree, but can you guess what kind of shapes are in a tree? I'll give you a moment. Well, no matter how you draw, when you draw, sometimes there's gonna be shapes that you can see. It's up to you to really look at things and people and places and see what kind of shapes do you see and that made everything. For example, how would you draw a book? And would you use squares, circles, or how would you draw a pillow? Is it a square, an octagon, diamonds? No matter how you draw, just remember that they're always built with shapes. So this is Mr. Chavez's art show. I hope that you had a wonderful day today. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you hit that like button if you like my video, okay? Have a great day. Bye.